Three, two, one. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mike, and you are listening to Hammered. And if you're on our YouTube channel, you're actually watching it. So, hey, welcome. On today's podcast, I got the Bobcat in the house.
What's up, everybody? What's
going
up,
on?
Mike?
You know, just chilling, man. Just chilling. Glad you made the trip up, man.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It's always a good trip when you're on the motorcycle.
So your nickname is Bobcat, but it's Robert Spurgeon, right?
Yeah. God-given name is Robert Spurgeon. It was called Bob or Bobby growing up, but ended up getting into being called Bobcat, and then it evolved into Raider Bobcat because of being a big Raider fan. And just then kind of evolved where everybody just started calling me Bobcat everywhere. So,
all right. So, like, why? You got to explain the Bobcat.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I've said this to a few people around and everything. See, when somebody walks in a room and they turn around into a room with a bunch of people, and you turn around and say, "Hey, Bob," like 4 people look around. Look, Bob's common. There's always at least 3 or 4 in every one of them, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody walks in the room and says, "Hey, Bobcat," everybody's looking around in the room to see who's called Bobcat. So now I become the center of attention. Raise my hand. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those kind of cool things, you know?
I mean, it sticks, right?
Yeah, of course. It stuck really hard because it all kind of started with my ex-wife's sister. She hated calling people by their regular names. And so I had been called that on and off throughout my, younger years, things like that. But one day, once she started calling me that, it just stuck and never changed. So pretty much everywhere I go, it's either Bobcat, Raider, or Raider Bobcat, one of those 3. So that's how I'm known as. Yep.
I mean, you're lucky. I mean, most people go their whole lives and can't get a nickname to stick.
Yeah.
You could be like me, and everybody just call me by my last name wherever I go. I'm pretty much fucked when it comes to that.
Oh man, I've had so many crazy names, but I actually have another one too, kind of like a road name that was given to me by the Raleigh-Clayton area riders, in particular a girl named Michelle. She's the one who takes all of our pictures, things like that, and then. So I'm kind of known for being a little adventurous when we ride. I like to slide a little bit. You know, there's a little saying that it isn't a ride unless Bobcat slides.
That's a saying, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of fun. But, one day I was blocking. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's where, we kind of block lanes for all the bikes to go through and stuff so that nobody tries to pull out in front of them when we're going through intersections, right?
We call that road guards.
Yeah, road guards, blocking, however you want to say it. Yeah. So I came in one time a little hot and kind of slid to a stop and stood up off the bike like this and had my hand in the air and after my little slide and everything. And she saw me do it. And about that time, Crazy Train came on the radio and she turns around and she goes, "That's Crazy Train." And it stuck. So a lot of the people that I ride with, they all call me Crazy or Crazy Train as well. So, you get nicknames all through life for different adventures and things.
When it comes to riding, I know zero, man.
Yeah.
I know zero about riding. I have never rode a motorcycle.
That's crazy, too, because of how popular and how huge the motorcycle community is here in the South, you know?
Yeah, it's just never been something I've gotten interest in. I think the last time I rode a 2-wheeled vehicle was a dirt bike when I was probably in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And it threw me over the handlebars, man. And that could have been what it was. I mean, I was going through this, I grew up on a farm and all this other shit. And I can't even remember whose dirt bike it was. I think it was like a cousin's. And I'm hitting ruts, man. I'm having a blast. And all of a sudden, boom, I just hit a ditch. That you couldn't see it because of the bush there, and man, it fucked me up. I think that's what happened. It just gave me this fear of riding shit like that.
Yeah. Well, I used to ride dirt bikes. I've been riding dirt bikes since I was like 6 years old. It was the first time I ever got on one. The first street bike at 14, And I've always said that I've learned how to crash on a dirt bike so I wouldn't crash on a street bike. So I've crashed so many times on a dirt bike. It's ridiculous. I've gone head over heels on the bars like you have.
Yeah.
I bent the bars on my ribs when it landed on me. The bike landed on me, bent the bars on the ribs.
Holy
fortunately,
shit.
walked away without injury. But yeah, the bar itself hit me right on the rib and it bent it up. It was just insane.
Now, have you ever put down your street bike?
I had to do it once. One time out of 30 years of riding. 30
On
plus
purpose.
Years. On purpose.
On purpose.
Yep.
Oh, tell us about that. What
Well,
happened?
so it was, young and being kind of one of those, kind of riders that are a little aggressive, those types of things. And I was coming down this road that was just brand new asphalt and cruising along. I'm in the right-hand lane, and this lady starts to come over. And, being cocky and kind of dumb, I reached over with my foot and kicked her door because she wasn't stopping with honking or nothing, And, it was my fault that I had to lay the bike down because as I turned around, the truck in front of me had stopped. And so it was one of those moments where it was like, oh, shit. I, endoed the bike up on one wheel, trying to slow down fast enough, sliding on one wheel, brought it back down and just kind of laid it down and ran off, ran off to the side and everything. And the bike slid underneath the truck about a foot or so, but didn't hit the truck, thank God. And but just as I was running off of it, this guy had come off the freeway and circled around, to come up to the light there. And he saw the whole thing, was watching me. And as I come running up, I looked up and I saw him, and he's just sitting there with eyes like this. And I went, thank you, bowed at him and everything. Of course, he started laughing. He started clapping at me, this type of thing.
Yeah.
And went back over, picked up the bike, and started to go. But, I've had close calls for sure, but
Yeah.
all the experience of riding dirt bikes and kind of learning how to slide, I've avoided so many mistakes because I'm able to control the bike and slide it and work my way around things. So but yeah, that's the only time I've ever had any kind of incident, knock on wood. Hopefully this is not fake. But,
It's fake.
Oh, shit.
It's like some kind of plastic shit. Yeah.
I'll find some later. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's just, I'm a firm believer that, one of the things that was taught me when I started riding street bikes is that you're not just riding a motorcycle, you're riding the bicycle that's on the side of the road. You're in that car that's parked and the dude didn't look in his mirror when he opens up his door.
Yeah.
You're that little girl that might run out in between the cars chasing a ball.
Oh, yeah.
You're the truck behind you that may be sitting there on his phone not paying attention when you come to a stoplight. Those are the things that was ingrained in me, is that you are part of the environment. The bike is just a part of you. You can move your arm without ever thinking about it and just move your arm to where you need to be, right? I can go pick up this beer without hardly looking at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so the motorcycle becomes that part of it, but you can't control, you can't control like somebody not slowing down and coming up to that stoplight. And even though you've got the green, you have to know that there's somebody going to go through that intersection. So, you just be cautious and pay attention and get to know your environment at all times. And man, I tell you what, it's done me well for 30 years. So,
And I tell you, another thing that's crazy right now is like the cell phone usage on the roads.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it 10 times more dangerous for bike riders out there because
oh, yeah.
I'm guilty for it too, man. You looking down at your phone and you look up and oh shit, there's
Yep.
brake lights in front of you.
Yep.
And you have to like react on a millisecond. And yeah, so.
It's the same thing when you're on a motorcycle. I know some guys that do that when they're on a ride. They got the phone sitting right up in front of them, and all you have to do is just kind of press the button, and show your text real quick and stuff like that. Man, I have my phone sitting there. I don't bother with messages typically unless I come to a stop or something. But that's what the phone's there for, is to play the music, It's all about music when you're riding. And I don't want to be bothered when I'm on the bike.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to have that. I'm in my environment, man. So, hey, anybody out there, I don't know which camera I'm supposed to look at right now. But
That's you right there.
anybody out there that texts me and I don't answer, I'm on my motorcycle. Just wait a little bit. I promise I'll answer.
You got to get that automatic message set up like I've got.
Yeah. But then now that makes it less fun because I like people sitting there stew a little bit about why is he not answering me? Yeah, well, there's the reason why right there. Okay.
So I got a question for you. Your bike, like I said, my ignorance for motorcycles is way up there, man. So you got like a little phone mount on the front. So if somebody texts you, you can actually see it come through and all that.
I can see when texts are coming and stuff like that. But I typically, like I said, I don't even bother looking at it. The only time I ever have, I'll put it up just for the, Spotify driving mode.
Yeah.
And just so I can see the songs and stuff like that, and switch when I want to or whatever, in case something's going on with my radio where it doesn't work or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it all works on hand controls, all that stuff on the bike and everything. But just in case, I just always have that up, because you never know Like, for instance, when I want to have a camera go real quick, just because I have been known to kind of videotape myself or take pictures of myself when I'm riding, things like that. So sometimes I'll have the camera up, ready to rock and roll.
You ever GoPro anything good?
Not yet. That's coming, though. We're actually just about ready to buy a bunch of gear and get ready for a big ride that we've got coming up. A couple of them, actually. So, yeah, it's going to be an adventure, man. Adventure of a lifetime.
You ever done Sturgis?
Well, that's what I'm doing this year, actually.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Look at that. I'm all up in your head. Yeah.
So, man, we're planning a big ride. Me and a buddy of mine.
How many's big?
8,500 miles in 3.5 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
So, basically, I've lived my life, kind of catering to everybody else and everything else, and always had that bucket list to go to Sturgis and do all these other things and everything, and never got around to it because it was always about everybody else, everybody else's kids or everybody else, a girlfriend or family or something of that nature, friends. And the thing was, man, is that, I went through a rough time this last few years, relationship-wise, financially, all that good stuff that's taken me some time to, kind of figure out and recover from. And so 2 years ago, I was in a relationship, and I came into Duluth, Georgia for my work one day. And when I was there, I decided to rent a motorcycle for a day. And me and a bunch of coworkers down in Duluth, we went up and did the Tail of the Dragon.
Now, what is the Tail of the Dragon?
So the Tail of the Dragon is a real famous motorcycle road here down right next in, I believe it's Tennessee, or right in the Four Corners area, or is it Three Corners or Four Corners or whatever it is of Tennessee and North Carolina and Georgia and one other, I believe. But basically, it's an 11-mile road with 318 corners in it. And so it's nothing but like switchbacks like this throughout the entire thing. And it's pretty rad. I mean, I rode it, and even though it was pretty amazing, and I got a little emotional after it because it was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to ride that, and I finally got the opportunity to do it. And I was like, and it was almost like an epiphany. It was like, what am I living for? I mean, I've been so about everything and everybody else that I've forgotten about me. Mm-hmm. And so that was the epitome at the moment where I realized, wait a second, and I started getting woke about a relationship that I was in that was really, really bad. And so I kind of woke up from that and started to get my head right and get in the right space. And then I was like, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to start doing what I want to do, And so that's kind of where it's been going. So then when COVID hit, I was dating somebody new. And when COVID came, it kind of forced us to move in together. Otherwise, I wasn't going to see her, type thing. Yeah. And so, which was really bad for the relationship and stuff. But regardless of which, one day when COVID hit, they turned around and made us start working from home. And I turned around to my boss. I said, look, here's the thing. I'm now work from home employee, basically. Why don't we just make this permanent? And then that way I can go and do whatever I want. And he said, well, yeah, let's do that. So once that happened, I was like, cool, I'm moving. I'm out. So I used to live in Oregon, lived there for 40 plus years of my life, off and on.
Whereabouts in Oregon?
Portland, mostly. But throughout the Northwest, all the way up through the area, stuff like that. Mostly Portland and in the Beaverton area and things like that for probably 35 years of that. Okay. But I lived all the way far south as Roseburg, all the way up into Parkland, Spanaway, Washington, Tacoma area, that kind of stuff. But like I said, probably 30 to 35 years of that was basically in Portland. And so when this happened, I just knew I wanted to be somewhere cool, and I loved the Tail of the Dragon. I loved Georgia. I loved the area. I loved the people. And so one day I was just like, you know what? I started looking around, and Raleigh just happened to be like the 12th best place to live in the U.S. And I picked here, came here, moved here, and everything was cool. But I went out, and the first people I met, besides my two neighbors, okay, I went out and did a charity ride, and it just kind of started going from there. Whereas the first 4 months that I lived here, I met over 200 motorcyclists and 2 people that didn't ride or wasn't associated with it. And those were my two neighbors, and 3. My neighbor and the other neighbor and his wife, right? So basically 3 people out of the entire community that I met was outside of the motorcycle world.
So you were living in Portland. 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And you said, fuck it.
Yep.
I can work from home. I'm just going to, did you just like spin the
No,
and just,
No,
I know you said Raleigh was like the 12th.
Right.
But.
Well, I have a daughter and grandkids that live up in Winchester, Virginia, which is about 5 hours north of here.
Okay.
And then Duluth, Georgia is where my U.S. headquarters is for my company, and which is about 5 hours south of here.
So
Raleigh
you're like
just
midway.
happened a bit right in the middle. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Plus the fact that it was still like 2 hours from the ocean, 2 hours from the mountains, which is kind of like what Oregon is, a little less in time, but it's still the same, right in the middle of both, you know. And so it kind of had the best of all worlds is when I started researching it. So, I ended up moving here, and now it's just been this blessing because it's like it's opened up a whole world of opportunities for me. So like here in July, you know, we're doing what they call an Iron Butt Challenge, and that's where you ride 24 hours and do 1,000 miles in 24 hours.
Wow, I hope you got comfortable seats on your bike.
Oh, yeah, boy. Comfortable seats. I got the laid back, you know, highway pegs that put my feet almost angled all the way up.
Man.
And I got those big 14-inch apes that put me up in a style of riding that is just relaxing and enjoyable.
Look, I'm going to show my ignorance with bike riding again. Every time somebody passes me with a chopper with their hands all the way out like this, I'm like, how in the hell do they control that shit? Because you can't turn but like this.
Well, that's it. Well, you don't turn. That's the thing. You don't turn with your bars. If you're turning with your bars, you're doing something way wrong. The only time you turn with your bars is when you come into like a really slow turnaround or something like that. But even then, you lean down, man, and it's all about the lean, you know. And so, but yeah, you hardly ever. But mine are only 14s. Mine aren't way up here or anything. I got a buddy who rides a bike that's a little bit more up like that. But mine are 14s, and they put it right there at shoulder level, so it makes it real comfortable when you ride and things like that. So.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I like my highway pegs up a little higher for two reasons. One, because I find it a little bit more comfortable, you know, when I'm riding. But also, when I hit corners and things like that, I'm a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
And so I like getting down to where the pegs are scraping up and you know, hitting the ground a little bit, sparks flying off and stuff. So that higher, those higher highway pegs, what they call them, puts my feet up at an elevated level, so I don't have to worry about my feet getting caught on the ground, stuff like that.
Now, so moving from Oregon to North Carolina, what was the biggest difference? I mean, it's two different worlds, basically.
You know, it's really not. Look, the people, of course.
Now it's changing for the like that here in North Carolina. Yeah,
right.
So.
Well, let's put it this way, man. I mean, you know what's happening in Portland. I don't want to get too much into that. You know, the politics and all that stuff is what it is. You know, I always welcome to talk to people personally about that part of it, but I just don't want to, you know, put that out there publicly for anybody because, you know, it's one of those things you get judged too much and you have a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
But the way things have turned out there and the way the people have become, you know, it was almost sad to see how 20 years ago was what Raleigh is now. Mm-hmm. The way the people are there now is just, you know, it's horrible. You used to be able to walk down the street and say hello to people. Now they call you a racist, you know. I mean, just simply walking down the street and waving at somebody, you know, you're called names or something, right? So, or you're given a snub or whatever it is. So, no, man, that's what I love about here. Moving down here, the people is a big part of it. But the one thing that I tell you, man, that killed me, and I know this is going to be like everybody says, but the one thing that killed me was the humidity. It was just like, oh my! I moved here in August, end of July, beginning of August. You know, we were in 70s and 80s and 90s in Oregon, right? But we don't have humidity. I get here and it's like 90 and 3,000 degrees of freaking, you know, 3,000% of humidity. Man, I stepped out of that truck and thought, oh man, and it started dripping. I mean, it was less than a minute and I'm dripping in sweat. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be hard. So even like riding a motorcycle, it was still sweating at 70 miles an hour.
Oh, you need straight up. You need 2 changes of clothes per day in the summer here in North Carolina,
and 3 showers. You know, because I'm a fat man. 3 showers is required during that kind of thing. You know.
That's how you know you're getting fat. Is how much you sweat during the summer in North Carolina.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my God, and then you get the sweat line above your your chest, and you're like, oh my God, So, time to start watching the weight.
Exactly. So, but yeah, then you know, as I got here, and so that was probably the biggest change. And then you know, just the people have been amazing, though. That's been such a blessing, you know. I've met so many really cool people, all the way from, just neighbors now and motorcycle community. It's also been now reached out to a lot of like, foods events and all these different things that I'm going to, music. It's crazy how many cool people I've met in the music world, as of course, Stephanie Lynn, who was here on your podcast a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Man, she is probably one of the most down-to-earth, most amazing human beings I've ever met.
We had a super good time doing that podcast.
Yeah. I'm glad that you were able to get her on, and because I'm like super fan, as you can see. I got my Rebels Fox.
Rebels Fox, baby.
So and we kind of follow her around as much as possible. We've got a big crew down in Clayton area that go kind of pretty much wherever she goes for the most part.
She's going to some kind of festival here pretty soon.
She
right?
just did it this last weekend.
Oh, is this past weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, man, cool.
I had some previous plans, otherwise I'd have been going too. But,
me too.
Yeah. But she was down in Georgia for a big music festival down there, and of course she sent pictures, and I was kind of envious actually. It was just like she was camping and hanging out, and they had such great music going on and stuff like that. So yeah, I was kind of a little jealous and a little envious and wishing I was there, but yeah, whatever. It turned out all right.
There'll be others, man.
Yeah. Of course.
She's pretty awesome.
Of course, yeah. In fact, she's playing. Well, this will be too late for this podcast to be released, but she's playing this Thursday night on at Tavern at the Green, in one of my favorite places. And so we usually get about 10 to 15 of us that roll in there every time and watch her play out of Clayton area. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a following that comes and chases her around everywhere. And I'm one of them. Yeah, can't help it. She's really fun to watch.
Yeah,
so,
her podcast is doing pretty good. It's got over 150 views, probably more than that right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So hey, if you're listening out there, check out Stephanie Lynn's podcast. YouTube channel. Subscribe.
She's amazing. And if you ever meet her in person, you can't help but love her. She's just one of the coolest people in the world, man.
Oh God, her and my co-host Laura, they pretty much like our BFFs now.
Yeah. Are they still in touch afterwards, right?
Yeah. I mean, they bonded instantly. I was like, damn.
Sister.
I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and let you guys do the show.
Right. Yeah, I was watching that. I was cracking up watching you back there like, okay, I guess I'm not going to do anything here.
They went on this Stevie Nicks thing, and that was where, All right, so like, I'm not even going to lie. So I love music. Don't get me wrong. I love music, but there's certain things I just never had an interest in. And Fleetwood Mac was one of them.
Right.
I just never, they weren't my thing. Like, I hear that song on the radio, I'm like, oh, that's Fleetwood Mac? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a cool song. But I'm not going to go out and, like, buy records or anything like that.
Oh, you should, though. You should. Because, I mean, like I said, once you start listening to, especially now, some of the story about it and everything, it really starts, it starts making you pay attention. And then you realize what a great writer they both were. And great musicians, those types. And the music's just killer, If you like that old classic rock stuff, of course, they were top of the line for that,
Yeah, that was one thing that got me with the whole story was she was sleeping with the guitarist. And... Like I guess they broke up and they were still together.
They were married. I think they were married actually. Lindsey Buckingham and her. I think I could be wrong on that part.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that they were either like together for a long time or married or something like that. But yeah, when they broke up, they just realized that it wasn't the same with Fleetwood Mac. Anywhere else that they went. Now Stevie, of course, did really well on her own as well during the '80s. And stuff like that. And Lindsay did a couple of things that was pretty good, but yeah, for the most part though, it just wasn't ever the same, with the four of them together. And man, what great music that they put out! Yeah,
and they were still playing together, and she was still
are.
writing songs about him when they broke up. And
and I think they were just touring a couple years ago, actually, if not more recently. Yeah, before all the COVID hit, I think they were still touring together, actually. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So I mean,
milking that cow.
Who doesn't? I mean, Jesus Christ, Rolling Stones kept going all the way up into the 2000s. I think Keith Richards actually had to have a fucking brace to put on the ground behind him to keep his ass up off the ground. I mean, dude, come on, right?
Speaking of that, man,
had a stand-up walker, with his guitar laying on it. Yeah.
I hope, man, since COVID restrictions are kind of being a little relaxed now, At least in some states, not North Carolina yet. It's getting there, but I hope we get some live venues opening back up.
They are actually. I've been reading that there are some planned here come July, and starting in July and September. July, August, September. I've seen some coming out. Luke Combs has been just posted just recently that they're scheduling something out here. Some of the bigger artists and stuff like that are starting to do what they're calling drive-in theater type thing. They're going to these drive-in places and setting up, and you actually kind of stay in your car or stay in the back of your pickup truck or whatever. And it actually, you have like a parking space in between you type thing.
Yeah.
And you get to go to the concert and watch them live like that, but you basically kind of like watching a movie. You're staying in your car, in your area, whatever you want to call it. So
there'd be a big ass parking lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that one of the things I've noticed is when it comes to something like that, the ticket prices are just skyrocketed. Where it used to be $75 for a ticket, now is coming up to $150 to $300. Depending how close you are, type thing. It's kind of ridiculous, and that's per person, by the way. That's not per car. Wow. So yeah, it's been crazy. Some of the ideas that they're coming up with, and good for them. I mean, hey, look, I've been to over 300 concerts in my lifetime. Am I going to go sit in my car and watch somebody play? No. I'm not going to go to that. That just ruins the experience for me. But if you want to see your artist so bad that you can go do that. And hey, man, you could get out and sit on top of your hood of your car or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. You could do whatever you want. Bring your pickup truck and put your tailgate down and have a good old time, or put your fold-up chairs in the back, or however you want to do it. If that's how bad you want to see them, people are going to pay to go see them.
Yeah, so basically you're tailgating, but you're able to see the concert too.
Exactly.
Hell, we did that at Walnut Creek Amphitheater all the time. Some of the best times is in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even some of the shows down here at those mudding things that I keep reading about.
Mudding things.
The mudding events and everything, where they have the live concerts and stuff like that too. People are out on their 4-wheelers sitting on them and watching all the bands play and stuff. I mean, come on, it's not a new concept by any means, but which I have not been to, so I can't confirm that happens. But I'm hoping to this year. So anybody that knows of any, hook a man up. So, but
I think you're like referring to like truck and tractor pools or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. But it's like those. It's basically like just a big party somebody has out in a big field. I see them a lot on like the music videos and stuff, and I never thought they were real until I started seeing like real pictures of people posting it on Facebook and shit. I'm like, I have to go to those. I've already been told those do exist. I just haven't had a chance to go yet. So that's coming, though. So
I mean, you might be in a good spot here in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. North Carolina, South Carolina, all that area. Yeah. Georgia. Yeah, that's where they're pretty famous for sure. So
I think Jason Aldean sings about them a lot.
yeah. Well, Colt Ford, the Moonshine Bandits, those kind, the Lax, those kinds of guys for sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's segue into you moving to North Carolina. Okay, what's the big difference in the women in Oregon and the women here? Like, do you find it more difficult to find someone here? Do you even have a girlfriend right now?
I don't. So. No, I haven't since basically August when I moved here. As soon as we got here, it was a couple weeks, and we decided that it wasn't going to work out, and decided to go different routes. So I've been single since August, and kind of just living my life right now, having fun. Not to say that I'm not looking, but my priorities have changed a lot, and my requirements have changed a lot. One thing that we talk about it all the time, and you see everybody kind of talking about it, posting things, saying that you can't make anybody else happy unless you're happy, right? You have to make yourself happy, and I'm a firm believer in that now. It used to be where it's like, oh my God, I'll do anything for you. No. That's not how you make people happy. That just caters to people, right? So now it's all about, okay, so I need to make sure that I'm happy. Well, motorcycles being a big part of my life, and I've actually had to not turn away, but, deny a chance at a relationship because they weren't into the motorcycle world. I can't have somebody that's going to constantly be worried about me and worried about what I do as a lifestyle and feel comfortable by going out and doing that. And you know what I mean? It's just like, it's almost like living with somebody who's opposite of the feelings of guns. I don't know about you, but I own them, you know. But if I have somebody that lives with me that doesn't like them and doesn't want them, that's gonna be a conflict constantly, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want that conflict anymore. So now it's more about, okay, here's my lifestyle, here's the important things. Now, can I budge on some of it? Sure, but there's a few things you just cannot do. And mine's the motorcycle world, you know, motorcycle and live music. Those are my two things. You got to be a part of that, or you can't be a part of the lifestyle with me, you know.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like political,
right?
You know,
right,
like if you're far right, can you date somebody far left?
You know
Probably not.
It depends on the person when it comes to that, because here's the thing. Are you acceptable of the other person? I mean, if you truly love someone and you truly like them, look, you can be on two different sides of the spectrum on anything, right?
Just don't ever discuss it.
Well, and even if you do discuss it, make sure that you're able to handle each other's opinions and leave it at that. It's just an opinion. Realistically, it's just an opinion. Look, if you're so far right and you're so far left that you let that control your life completely, then you're not going to have that. But I don't let that stuff control my life. You know, all it does is give me heartburn and heartache. You know, what the hell have I got to worry about? You know?
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's the same thing with any relationship, with anything. You know, if you love going fishing, right? And you know, we hear all the country songs, right? If you love going fishing and she doesn't, she's mad at you because you went fishing. What kind of relationship is that? You know what I mean?
She better be out there casting a line with you.
Exactly. And isn't that what we kind of want? Isn't that what we ultimately want? Look, I love riding motorcycles, and nothing feels better than having somebody on the back with me. I love it.
What if she's got her own?
Well, that's even better. Actually, that's even better, because then we can haul her friends on the back. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. But yeah, no, it's just you know, but that's what I'm saying. As far as like being in a relationship, you have to have those things. You have to have those similar interests, especially the major ones. You know, I mean, you can have the little ones. Look, I don't like going to the mall and shopping. Does that mean I'm not gonna go if she wants to? No, I'll go. We'll ride the motorcycle down to the mall. I mean, that's a great compromise. You know, get me on the motorcycle so then I can go down, get stressed the fuck out, and then get back on the bike and lose all that stress on the way back, right? And so. You know, there's things that you can give and take and have those moments of even we have differences. Okay, you like to go, you know, you like go getting your nails done. I'm not gonna go with you to get your nails done. You know, you're not gonna go with me down to the local tavern probably. And well, I better rephrase that because I know a lot of these girls that would.
Hey, and I've even went and got a pedicure with my.
Is that right?
One of my girls. Well, not my current girlfriend, but I have done it. Even when I was married, I went and did it.
The mani-pedi, yeah.
Yeah, the mani-pedi, yeah. I can't knock it. I mean, it was okay. But,
yeah. I haven't done it, but yeah, I've got several buddies who do it back.
Man.
Yeah, well, it's very popular in Oregon, so
you should try it and video it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, it's bad enough. Hey, look, it's bad enough right now. There's I don't know if it's turned into a game or not, but all of a sudden everybody's getting video of me dancing lately. And so
I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah. And it's all of a sudden it's like it's starting to kind of catch on and being passed around and shit. And it's like coming from people I don't even know. They're like, hey, wait a second, I've seen that cat. They videoed me and everything, and then they send it to their friends, and then they sent it to their friends, and then my buddy gets a hold of it and sends it to me. I'm like, how'd you get this? You weren't even there. You know, and it's like, like these 6 degrees of separation of video being passed around. You know,
the book of faces.
Yeah.
And share.
So now it's starting to where, like, all of a sudden, like Saturday night, I was at a big event, and now I've seen 3 different videos of me dancing from 3 different angles, and it's just like, oh my God, really? Come on, you know? But you know what? Here's the thing, man. As long as people are out having fun, that's the whole point. Just come out and have fun. Yeah. I don't give a. I mean, I make fun of myself and things like that, but hey, look, this fat man can move. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I'm saying? So if you love me so much that you're videoing me and everything and having a good time, man, check it out. At least you're out having a good time and supporting the music, you know?
At the end of this podcast, I may have to insert a clip of you dancing.
Yeah, come on, boy. Yeah, no worries.
Let's give the people what they want. We got to let them see it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen. So yeah.
You know, there's so many dating apps out there, websites. You know, you got like Farmers Only, Christian Mingle. You got a dating app for every different type of person.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there one for bike riders?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
What's the name of it?
I don't know.
Choppers only?
I get the pop up every once in a while to join it and stuff like that. But I've given up on all that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I still get on there every once in a while just to waste some time sitting on the toilet type thing. So forgive me if I've liked you while I was on the toilet. No offense. But but you know, it's more of like at first when I you know, like back in December, you know, around Christmas time and everything and Thanksgiving, it was really starting to get lonely, you know. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really have a lot of people to go hang out with. I was invited to a bunch of families and things like that. But look, you know, you almost like you feel like you're imposing type thing because you don't really know people that well. I mean, I've only been here since August, right? And so it was one of those types of things where I was just around the house a lot, kind of bored, and you know, with the rain that was happening, the weather and everything, couldn't ride a lot or anything like that. And although I was trying to get out to music, of course it's Christmas time, there wasn't much of that. And we shut down during that time, so I was like volunteering to work during that time just to make sure I was busy doing something, right? Mm-hmm. And so as all that was going down, you know, I started getting into the dating apps a little bit and trying to see, you know, maybe I could get lucky and find a couple and things like that. And it went okay. I mean, I met a couple of people, so it wasn't, you know, horrible and everything, but it just wasn't right, you know. And then after a while, I just started noticing the same stuff over and over and over, and it got tiring, you know. It really was like more of a chore to go like, okay, let's see who's on there now, you know, type thing, see if there's anybody new, you know. And it was just like, you know what, screw this. I really don't need that stress in my life. And so, you know, occasionally, like I said, and I joke about sitting on the toilet, I don't really, well, kind of sometimes, but not all the time. So, but, you know, every once in a while, I'll just get a hair up my ass and just decide, okay, let's see what's going on. But I don't pay for anything, you know. I did there for a while, and it was just a waste, you know. Yeah. It's always funny, too, when you don't pay, all of a sudden there's 5 to 20 chicks that want to meet you. But as soon as you pay, none of them like you. It's crazy, you know.
You're talking about you get a little notification in the top that says you've got 25 likes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their way of getting you, man. Yes, that's how they bring you in. It's so corporate now too. Like, if you go on Tinder nowadays, and I mean, I got a girlfriend. I'm happy and stuff. At times, I would use it to recruit members to the singles group that I run, ATB. So I got this whole little spiel typed out. I'm on my 3rd Tinder account, by the way, because each one of them gets banned for spam.
Right.
So, I got this whole thing spilled out. I'll copy and paste it and send it to all my matches. So I've gotten quite a few members from that, but I've also got a lot of fuck yous off of that too. Right. But now it's all corporate, man. There's so many advertisements in there.
Well, and scams, you know. I mean, it's insane. And the sad part is that, you know, when it's truly supposed to be good for some people, and I can see the advantages for some people, especially during the COVID and things there is now. A lot of people don't want to go out right now, don't want to be out and about, but they're lonely. They want to meet somebody, you know? Yeah. And so I get it that with those apps, it's actually kind of good for some people in some cases. But, you know, the thing is that, you know, especially because, you know, look, let's be honest, right? We both hear the stories. These jerks that keep calling, you know, like send me nudes and showing their dicks to them and shit like this, you know? It's just like, have a little class. If you're going to do that, have a little class. If you're really, truly wanting to meet somebody, have a litlittle class. You know what I mean?
Put a necktie on your dick.
Right. And make sure you're shaving. You know? I mean, come on.
Yeah, nobody wants a hairy dick pic. Come on. Get with it, guys.
Make it look good, right? Yeah. But yeah, I know. But you know, the thing is that what it does is it gives a reputation for the decent guys. You know, the ones like myself and others that are really I was using it to try to find somebody, but you know, that are trying to actually meet people. You know, go out and meet people, do things. Let's go on a date. You know, that type of thing. It really gave us a bad reputation because it would be like one keyword that I'd say or something like that, and it'd be like, oh, you're one of those, click and out, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like it really kind of puts a bad taste in people's mouths. And it was the same thing for me. I mean, believe it or not, it happens to us too. You know, we get these girls that are like, you know, hey, I'm living in so-and-so, send me money. You know, it's like, get the fuck out of here, you know? I'm not dumb. But there are people dumb enough to do that. Like, they're so desperate, they think that this chick can, like, Indiana is going to all of a sudden drive down to see you. Come on.
I had a random message on Facebook the other morning.
Oh, yeah?
This girl messaged me. I had no idea who she was. I thought it was another Nigerian fake profile. Asking me for anabolic steroids, 100 milliliters, and I'm like, I had to Google that shit just to see what it was.
Did she look at you? I mean, did she think that you were like a roid ranger or something?
I know. I'm like, come on, does it look like I use steroids? Jesus Christ, maybe I should be asking you for them.
Right, exactly.
Come on. And it turned out she was legit. She confused me with somebody else.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, I apologize. And I was like, well, get back to them steroids.
Oh, yeah.
How do make that happen?
The ones I love are the ones that turn around and, like, send you, be my friend, and then you look at them, they're hot as shit, and you're thinking, okay, what's this about? And you click on their pictures. They've got 4 pictures and, like, 3,000 men that like them, type thing. Yeah. It's like, come on, really?
The one that gets me is on Facebook. You get a random friend request from a hot woman, and then you look at her profile. Cover photo uploaded 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Profile picture just updated.
Right, exactly.
And 5 friends.
And it's got her OnlyFans.com next to her name. Yeah. It's
with something like sex, XXX, fuck me now in the butthole. Let's go.
Okay, those ones I click on. Just
I mean, sometimes,
you never know. I mean, seriously, right?
Cross my fingers one day one's going to be legit.
I mean, at my age and my looks, you can't be picky. That's terrible.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go to like Sturgis or something, and you're going to meet your chick up there.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to be like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm moving to South Dakota.
Nope. Actually, no. I mean, that's funny. I mean, there's always that thing about you're going to meet somebody at some of these rallies or do something like that, being single. But, like, for instance, when I go to Sturgis this year, we're actually doing something to create a movie out of it because it's my 50th birthday.
Oh, sweet.
And I've wanted to do something my entire life to have some kind of a legacy. And look, I'm a pretty cool dude, whatever, I've been told anyway. I've had a pretty amazing life, but nothing extravagant. It's always been misery,
Yeah.
It's always been horrible or something. It's never been extraordinary, And so I want to have something as a legacy to leave in this world, and not only for my own, I guess for my own narcissism or whatever, maybe, I don't know, whatever the word is, but just for the fact that way, my family and my kids, because we have nothing in our family that people remember, I mean, as each person dies, it's almost like my grandmother, for instance, my kids and my grandkids never met her. Yeah. They don't know anything about her other than the stories that I could tell them, but it's never going to keep passing on because eventually it's just going to run out of steam and those people are lost, And so this way we're doing, so what we're doing is I decided that I wanted to do an 8,500 mile trip, the circumference around the U.S. Mm-hmm. We're leaving here, we're going down to the tip of Florida, coming back up all the way into San Diego, take the Pacific Coast Highway all the way up into Portland, and then from Portland over into Sturgis, and then take the top half of the U.S. all the way up into New Jersey and back down into Raleigh, and we're going to do it in about 3.5 weeks. And so
that's straight getting it, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's going to be, 6 to 8 hours riding every day. Now, mind you, of that 3.5 weeks, we've got 3 days in Portland and another 3.5 days or almost 4 days in Sturgis. So almost a full week taken up by those 2 spots only that we're not going to be riding. We're just going to be hanging out.
So I'm curious, what is this movie going to be? Just like GoPro footage, or are you talking into the phone and you're just going to edit it all together afterwards?
It all came about when I was talking to a friend of mine, and he does a bunch of this kind of stuff, podcast things like that. He produces a lot, and he's like, dude, you should make a movie out of that. When I was telling him what I was doing. And so the idea started growing, and I'm like, okay, so how would I do something different? Because there's hundreds there's not thousands, but there's hundreds of different motorcycle movies. You go on Netflix or go on Prime and look up motorcycle movies, dude. You'll get hundreds and hundreds of them. And I was like, but here's the thing: is a lot of them are either scripted, right, or they're edited so much that there's really not a lot of great content to it, type thing. And I was thinking to myself, how can I approach this to make it a little bit different, but make it cool and fun? Well, then that's where I got another friend of mine that's going to ride with me, and then we're going to have another friend tow behind us a trailer just for emergency type things and whatnot. And but we're picking up a bunch of cameras and everything. We're going to start filming all the riding. All the riding will be filmed. And
You got to film the
we'll
stops
have,
too.
Yeah, we'll have one on ourselves. We'll have one going forward. We'll have one going back. And each one of us will have a 361 happening, right? And so we're going to be riding. We're going to enjoy it. But what we're going to do is that it's going to be incorporated into Bike a Bunker. I'm going to try to bring in Bike a Bunker on this. And not for a sponsorship or anything, but it's basically, you ever heard of couch surfing? The couch surfing app?
No.
So that's basically where you go travel, and when you're traveling, you don't know where your destination is, but you're just going, but then you get an idea like halfway through the day. Okay, I'm gonna be in Jacksonville, Florida tonight, right? So I'll get on the Bike a Bunker and I'll say, okay, I'm heading into Jacksonville. Who's got a place for me tonight? And basically, what it is just a bunch of families or friends and people, not friends, but people that host bikers when they're out on these big adventures like this.
Oh.
And they host them in their house or in their fields or wherever it is, whether it's camping or an extra room or whatever it may be, right? And they actually bring these bikers into their homes and their worlds and host them for a night. And it's basically like a couch surfing app when you're traveling Europe. It's like kind of the same thing. You're hiking throughout Europe, and you're going to be this city. You just look up on the couch surfing app, and somebody's offering their couch for you to sleep on that night. So you get a hot meal, a shower, and a place to sleep for the night, and then you're off the next day to go do it again.
So it's Airbnb for bikers, basically.
Basically, but you're not. Well, in most cases, you're not paying for it. It's just people just being kind and letting you stay there.
Damn, you got to be trusting to do that.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. So. But it is one of those. You do have to be trusting us for sure. But typically, if you don't know the motorcycle world very well, which obviously you don't, people in the motorcycle world are a different breed. We're a whole nother animal in itself. It's almost like a brother and sister community. So if you're on a bike, if you ever notice motorcycle riders when they pass each other, I don't know if you know this, but they'll always put their two thumbs out. It means keep both wheels on the ground, or two tires on the ground, right?
So that's what it means, two tires on the ground?
Yeah, and it's just saying hello, make sure you're riding safe, keep two on the ground, that type of thing, right?
Okay.
And it's just this little thing that the motorcycles do with each other. But it's because there's a brotherhood and a community to it, is typically the ones that are offering up something like that are the ones that are the diehards. They're also motorcyclists in most cases. They're diehards, but they also understand the community part of it and the family environment around it. And so when you're getting people coming into your house like that, you're trusting that they're also, look, nobody's going to get on a motorcycle and ride around the damn country unless you're a diehard motorcyclist, right? It's not like you're going to go rent a motorcycle for the day and go all of a sudden driving around down to Florida and decide to stay the night. It doesn't happen that way. So typically, if you're doing those types of things, you're dedicated to doing this. And you also, you have your reputation of all of the stuff that you're doing. You have a motorcycle you're riding on. So it isn't like you're going to get too crazy or too out of this world, right? Yeah. And plus, there's records of everything. Even if you come in, they've got records of who you are and stuff like that. It's like kind of like Airbnb. You still get vetted. You still get who are you, that type of stuff. You still have to sign up for it. But it's really kind of cool. So, but we're going to do that. But also, what we're going to incorporate, my idea is that there hasn't been a lot of those things. There's been a lot of motorcycle shows and movies about riding around and going on these long road trips and things like that. But they have things that they're doing. They're talking about their inner peace or their experience of the day and or the cultural things of the areas and everything. But I've never seen one that's revolved around what we actually do and a lot of us do in the motorcycle world, and that's riding, drinking, and music. And so my idea is that we're going to go to all these different places, and as we stop every day, we're going to hook up with the local person, whoever we're staying with, and then we're going to go out to that local hotspot, whatever that local hotspot is that has the hottest band playing that night somewhere, and we're going to go watch all this live music. Of course, get permission for all this stuff for each one we go to in advance. We've got a guy that's going to help work on all that, but we'll have that ability now to bring like some of the local flavor on the music and the environment and the hell raising and the drinking and all of that good stuff, and just meet the real people of the community, not these ones that they've been staged saying, oh, we're coming to see you, but walking into a bar and meeting the people of that community, And I've always loved doing that, even when I'm doing my own thing. I always go ride somewhere, and I'll always walk into a bar, and I'm usually always talking to somebody. It's very rare that I don't, unless I get that vibe that they don't like you there, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, that's not the case. And so that's what I want to incorporate. What is it about us that makes us so different than anywhere else in the world? And what we do in the community that we are as human beings here. And that's what I want to spotlight. I love people, man. It's one of my passions is talking to people. And so getting the ability to go out and an adventure of a lifetime, you know, and then to go out and meet new people, hear new music, and being able to put that into a format that can be shown throughout time is just, the concept of it is amazing to me. And plus the fact that we're going to actually do it as a fundraiser for charity. We're doing the couple of different ones, couple of different children's charities, hospitals,
Cool.
Shriners and Dornbeckers. I'm a big, passionate supporter of theirs, as well as the veterans, a couple of veterans things, because we, you know, here in the North Carolina area, we've got a lot of vets and a lot of retired police and firefighters and things like that, EMT. And a lot of those are veterans as well. But the main one I think we're going to focus on is the 22, which is the 22 lives, vets' lives that have been lost every day through PTSD.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping to be able to incorporate that, do a bunch of fundraising to help us with this trip, get a bunch of sponsors to help us with this trip, and then be able to raise a shit ton of money for these charities.
Now,
So,
have you got a special cut you're going to be wearing? I learned that term from Sons of Anarchy. That's the vest, I guess.
The leather vest, in case anybody wants to see one.
Oh, there it is.
Like that. This one's not patched yet because this is my winter one, but I do have one that I have that has all my patches for my accomplishments that I've done.
Oh, cool.
All the, like the tail of the dragon and things like that. But that one's not going to be. We're actually buying new ones, and like one of our sponsors, we've already got lined up. He just wants us to put a patch right in the middle of our vest, and he's going to pay us a pretty decent little chunk to just wear the vest and having his patch on the back of our vest to be able to ride around and see and sponsor a little bit that way. So
Wow,
yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we can get some more like that. You know, obviously, you know, being a little bit more, it has to be those that are interested in doing something around, you know, the entire U.S. because, you know, the local stuff is great and everything, but if you're only going to stay local, there's no reason for you to put, you know, investment into something going all the way around the world. Hey, maybe a hammered patch on the back for us, huh?
You know, I wasn't going to go there, but since you did, I mean, basically, you're a moving billboard, man.
Basically, yes.
You're just advertising stuff for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I can actually make that happen. I can probably come up with a podcast patch for you.
Absolutely, man.
Man.
We'll wear them on the back or on the front, put you wherever, you know. Obviously, the location is one of those types of things that's prime property. So, you know, of course. No, we, you know, and the main thing is that, like I said, it's all about promoting those things that we love and we want to be a part of as well. You know, we just don't want to put all, you know, willy-nilly on a gas station on our backs if, you know, we don't want to support them. You know, these are going to be things that I want to support and that I believe in also. So. It'll be fun, man. It's going to be pretty amazing. And then, of course, once it's done, I've got some connections, and there's talk that we're going to actually present it to, you know, some of the big time streaming channels and things like that to see if we can actually get it on into the mainstream for people to watch as well. And the one thing I will tell you is that no matter what, man, obviously it's going to be a lot of fun. The guy that's going with me, the couple of guys that are going with me, they're even more of a smart ass than I am. And so the camaraderie that we have already is just amazing. And it's going to be one hell of a fucking thing. It's going to be a lot of shit talk, a lot of fun, a lot of crazy riding.
Well, when this happens, man, and you come back, I want you to come back on the show, and we'll do one show completely dedicated to it. And I want to see some video and all that, man.
I'd be happy to do that again. Absolutely. And we'll bring everybody, you know, the other two guys involved in it too. And they can talk about their experience as well.
You see, I got seats for,
hell
seats.
Yeah.
I got positions for them.
Exactly. So.
Well, look, man, So I'm about to do a hard out here.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming in.
I would have talked all night. Shit, this has been fun.
Well, we can save it. I know you want to get to Taco Tuesday.
Oh yeah, buddy. There's some people waiting down there that I want to meet as well. But yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Robert. Bobcat Sturgeon in the house,
Spurgeon,
folks.
yeah.
Spurgeon.
There
What
you
did I
go.
say? Sturgeon,
Yes,
like
you
the
did.
damn fish.
Like I've never heard that before.
Oh, there is a place in Oregon I want to go to, man.
Which one's that?
So it's called Bend. I believe it's Bend. They got the last Blockbuster there.
Oh yeah.
There's actually a Blockbuster video still out, and it's in Bend, Oregon.
It's
seriously people flying from Europe to this place to check it out.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, for sure. And Bend is beautiful too, by the way. It's actually known as the Sun Valley. It's just a little bit short of that, but it's known to have 300 days of sunshine in that area per year. Wow. So yeah, it's high desert, so they get a lot of snow as well and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like 300. They boast like 300 days of sunshine per year. So
God, I watched that documentary on Netflix last night, and it brought back so many memories of like walking in the video store and how it was a great date night and shit. And I'm like, I got to go to Bend in this Blockbuster.
Hey, the thing is, you go to Bend, and just for that Blockbuster, which will take you like 10 minutes of your time, but go there, man, because it's actually amazing. And the breweries throughout the entire Pacific Northwest and everything. So I know you like beer, but as well as I do. But yeah, man, the breweries up there are amazing, and there's one called McMenamins. And when you go, I highly recommend, man, try to book a stay at the McMenamins and get in the saltwater tub and hang out there. It's like a brewery, hotel, resort type thing. That's an old school they turned into this thing, and it's just amazing. So
awesome, man.
Yeah. So highly recommend it. Not to put a pitch out there but it is one of my favorite places there. So. Yep.
There you go. That was a shameless plug for that place.
It was a little bit.
We love it.
We're trying to get them to sponsor too, huh?
All right, Robert, man. Thanks again, brother.
You got it,
hey,
man.
you be safe out there in them two wheels,
Always,
man.
always.
And
Thank you.
I'll catch you around.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks for listening. This is Mike. You listen to Hammered. Peace. We'll see ya.